Nana in the City, written and illustrated by Lauren Castillo. This book had amazing reviews. Some book reviews are as follows. Nana in the City deserves a place on the shelf of classic New York picture books. Castillo's soft, warmly colored art expresses the child's changing feelings about the city while also depicting the characters' close bond. A fine example of how first-hand experience can overcome initial fear. A rewarding picture book with a vibrant setting. The accessible story arc outlines worthwhile messages about openness to new experiences and changing one's perspective, all couched in the security of spending time with a loved one. Have you ever been scared before? It can be scary being around things you are unfamiliar with. In this story, you will see how someone overcomes being scared of many things by the help of his loving Nana, who gives him a special red cape to help out their adventure together. This book is deserving of these awards in more ways than one. It is amazing to see how well this book is written. It shows young kids how you can overcome fears by experiencing things firsthand. With Nana's help, the two go to every place a boy felt was scary to him, because it is something he had not experienced before. They went to places like the subway, looked at graffiti, and construction sites. At the end of the book, the boy sees how great the city is and says, "There is so much to see in the city." One of the things the book focused on, and it was nice to see, was how spunky and brave the grandma was. Most people think of elders as weak, boring, and slow. Therefore, it was refreshing to see another side of how they are viewed. The other thing is the author did a great job changing the boy's views about the city. She wrote it with a purpose and had a great message. Lastly, it was great to see how much information was in the book about New York City. The illustrations were very believable. A young boy visits his Nana at her apartment in New York City. This would be the first time he is in the big city, and it leaves him feeling worried for his Nana. He believes the big city might not be the best place for his Nana to live in, with all the noise and dirt. The next day, Nana makes him a red cape, and she promises him that they will go out so she can show him how great the city is that she lives in. Visiting New York City can be a scary thing. New York is extremely loud, busy, and it is filled with crazy things according to the little boy. But when you have a courageous grandma and a super cool red cape, you have nothing to worry about. Stay tuned for a wild adventure with Nana. The author Beverly Cleary grew up in a small farming community where there was no library. Beverly's mother had to request books from the state library. Growing up, Beverly looked for funny stories, but during this time there was not any available for girls of her age. She went on to college, and when she graduated, she became a children's librarian and was inspired to write the stories she wanted as a little girl but could not have. We all go through personal struggles in life. Have you ever felt like there was no one you could talk to about your problems? Lee goes through a tough time where he can't make friends and starts to have anger issues. In this story, you will see two strangers form a strong bond with each other. What starts off as a school project ends up changing Lee's life. Dear Mr. Henshaw has won many awards, and they are well deserved. The author does an amazing job and shows how a young boy grows and matures with a tough transition that many kids go through when their parents divorce. The characters are extremely relatable, and others are able to see that they are not the only ones that go through these struggles. It is very common nowadays for marriages to end in divorce, so this book hits home to many kids going through this same situation. In this book, the author used his imagination and was realistic with the scenarios. The way he touches a boy's life and is able to help is extraordinary. The main idea of the book is to show morality. Morality is defined by the author doing the right thing by responding to a young boy who wrote him a letter to simply say thank you and tell the author how much he enjoyed the book. Dear Mr. Henshaw starts with Lee writing a letter to his favorite author, Mr. Henshaw. This began as a school assignment, but when Mr. Henshaw wrote back, the two continued to write to each other and formed a friendship. To Lee, Mr. Henshaw became the person he could open up to and talk about anything. Mr. Henshaw advised Lee to begin writing in a journal, which then helped Lee express his feelings freely. When Lee's life seems to be at his worst, he finds an unexpected friendship with Mr. Henshaw. During the next couple years, he seeks support through his favorite author, who he first wrote to as part of a school assignment. You will see how much Lee grows and becomes transformed into a self-confident young boy.